Why you get drunk?
All is mind, but the mind is not the all.
Peace once again, my fellow expressions of consciousness. If you're new to this channel, what I do on this channel is I help point people like yourself out of their limiting beliefs that they are a limited being, because it's simply not true. Why you get drunk? Here's why you get drunk. You get drunk to have a good time, you might say. You get drunk to forget about your worries, you may say. You get drunk because it's just fun, you may say. You get drunk because you don't know your limit, or you're just really thirsty. On one level, these answers are correct, of course, for different people. But essentially, it's the same answer, the reason you get drunk. It's the same reason somebody goes on a roller coaster, or watches a horror film, or jogs, or plays intense sports, such as the fighting sports, or any sports really. Even chess. Even playing video games. This reason is that you are trying to quiet the mind. This internal dialogue that keeps going on, that is constantly suggesting things. Do this, do that. Why did you do this? You should have done that. Call him, call her. Eat food, don't eat food. Be vegetarian, no, be vegan. No, forget both of them. Be muscly, no, don't. Forget that. Watch a film. This internal dialogue, I think this, is constantly going on. So it's a way to try and quiet that inner dialogue. And it works. Because you are either concentrating so hard on something that you become singular focus, like really concentrating on that moment of hitting that tennis ball. You don't have time in that moment to think about your worries. Or you're out of it, so to speak. You're so disconnected from your body and the mind in your drunken state that, again, it's not going to bother you. And you're so-called more free, or you have less inhibitions. But what on a deeper level is happening here, my friends, is you're trying to get back to the purity of who you are. Because the purity of who you are was never that conversation in the mind. The fact that you cannot stop the conversation going on in the mind should be a question, an answer to you that you are not that conversation in the mind. You are that silent witness of the mind, of the thoughts. If you are at one time, if you can just see for one moment that, yes, that may be true. I am witnessing these conversations in the mind. All these words, this commentary on everything that's happening and not happening. If you can see for a moment that you are the witness of the dialogue, then you must always be the witness of the mind dialogue, these thoughts that go through the mind. No matter how much it seems like it's the true you, that you are choosing it, it is seen clearly that you are actually the observer of the thoughts when you take your time to have a look, have a little peek. And you can do this at any point, of course, because thoughts are always running through the mind in the waking state. Any thought that pops into the mind, you saw it. Of course, not with the eyes, but it's the best word I can use right now. You saw it, you perceived it, you are aware of it. It being that thought, that image in the so-called mind. So you're trying to distance yourself from the physical world and that true essence of what you are. That's that thrill you get when you're playing sport. And you're just so in the moment. Or running fast. You're so in the moment. You're not in the mind. You're in yourself, your true self. And being in your true self, it is revealed to you that your true self is that of no mind. Your true self is that of complete peace. Because it's the peace that you are experiencing when you're playing sports. Even lifting heavy weights. In that moment of lifting heavy weights, you've got nothing else to think about. So when I say peace, I don't necessarily mean this type of peace. I mean peace as in you have that break from the mind. You have a little break from the apparent attachment to mind, to thoughts. In a moment of exertion, in a moment of concentration, in a moment of drunkenness. So my fellow expression of consciousness, please understand that you are always that truth. There is nowhere you need to go. There's nothing you need to do to realize that the internal dialogue that goes and plays within the mind isn't essentially what you are. You are always chilling. You are always that invisible awareness upon which appearances appear, including the device you're looking at right now. It's appearing in this experience. If you close your eyes, the color black will be appearing within the experience. This experience, sir, of reality, of objects, is always constant, meaning any perception you have, there is an awareness of it, of course. That awareness would have to be prior, would have to be constant for you to recognize anything is happening. For example, picking up a cup, a mug. Look within your own reasoning. Does it not make sense that there would have to be, let's use physical space, this space here, in order for a mug to be put into that space or to arise within the space? So that again, this physical space would have to be here, wouldn't you agree? In order for a mug to arise within a space, to appear within a space. Well, it's the same for the so-called mind, my friends. That awareness that is invisible, just as space is invisible, you can call it consciousness if you wish to, would have to be prior, constant, to allow that mind to arise within it, to allow experience itself to arise within it. And that awareness that allows the mind to arise within it, or that space-like awareness, is you. So just as a mug cannot affect the so-called physical space, it's going to be what it is, which is not a thing. The same way the essence of what you are, this awareness space, you could say, is never actually affected by the thoughts that go within the mind. They could be thoughts of anger, frustration, happiness, feelings of being glad, joy, pride. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the space around it, the space in which it arises within. And that space is you. Thunder does not hurt the sky. Anger, frustration, sadness does not hurt your true self. Practice your self-enquiry We've gone quite deep, quite quickly, but at the very least, if you could take this from the video and just try and see that you are the silent witness of thoughts of mind. The mind seems to trouble you only when you identify as the mind. See that even identification with the mind is also seen. Attention is also seen. Attention on the memory of pain is also seen. What is seeing this? Who are you truly? Instead of contemplating on your hurts and your sorrows, I'm not saying ignore, but why not also concentrate on what is aware of the experience of hurt and sorrows of the mind? Concentrate on that too. Give that some time. Give your true self some time. And then you will awaken into this peace that you've always been. And then all addictions will be much easier to overcome. Have a wonderful day or evening, my fellow expressions of consciousness.